Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm back with very interesting SQL problem today. It was asked in a Microsoft interview and Nidhi Gupta had shared it with me. So we have two tables. Let me show you the tables first and then we will read through the question statement. So we have two tables. These are the two tables and this is the expected output, right? So one table is airport code and city name. So this is about airports, right? This is the airport code. Let's say JFK. It is in this particular city. Then we have flight information, right? They can start from one airport code, one of them from this table, and end up to some other airport code, right? This start port and end port can be in same city or different city. We can't say anything. And this is the start time and end time, right? The start time and end time of each flight. So we have 10 flights here and all the information. Now what we need, right? Let's read the question quickly. A passenger wants to travel from New York to Tokyo in shortest possible time. The passenger can start at any airport in New York and must finish their journey at any airport in Tokyo. They can change planes at most once. Right? This is important because we can have a direct flight from New York to Tokyo, or there can be one stop in between, not more than that. Right? So this is the condition. Also, a plane change is possible if the flight ends no later than the start time of second flight. Right? So it is obvious, right? If a flight is ending at let's say 10 p.m. Right now, next flight should be at 10 p.m. or after that. Then only change can happen. Right? So this is obvious thing. So we will take care of that as well, right? So these are the two input tables, and we have to get all the possible route from New York to Tokyo. Basically, this is the question, right? If it is a direct flight, then middle city will be null. There is no middle city, direct start to end. And then we have the flight IDs, right? If there is only one direct flight, then that flight ID. And if we have multiple flights, like two flights we are taking from New York to Los Angeles and Los Angeles to Tokyo, then which flights we are taking, those flight IDs we have, right? And total time taken. Total time taken doesn't mean the flying time. It is total time from start time till end time, right? So let's see how we can solve this question. Okay, from description box you can get the create and insert table statement if you want to try yourself, but I'll start solving it now. Great. So these are my tables. Let's forget about the output for now. We'll see the output later, right? This is the output we have, and let's focus on these two tables. So what I will do first, I'll join these two tables, right? I will join start port with port code and get the start city name, and similarly join end port with again port code and get the end city name, right? So in one table I will have all the information. I don't have to join it again and again. We'll create a city and get everything in one go. So I will say select star from airports, inner join, or let me say this table first, right? Flights, doesn't matter, just the order what I want. So I will say F inner join airports A on. So let's call it as start, right? This is my start port. So this will be airports S on F dot start port equal to S dot port code, right? So if I do F dot star and comma S dot city name, this will give me start city name. So I will say as start city. Right? So I've joined these two tables, right, based on the start port and the port code. So from the port code table, I mean from the airport table, I've got the city name. Simple, right? Similarly, I will get the end city. So for that, I need to join with end port. So I will say it as E again with the airport table only I am joining, right? And this time I will say F dot start city equal to E dot port code, right? And this time E dot city name as end city. Great. So I got the start city and end city, right? I think I have to change it to end port. Yeah, this is my end port. Perfect. Okay, so this is start city, end city. Start city, end city for each flight. So let's create a city and we will use it with flight details as this. Great. So this we have now. Now, if you look at the first flight, this is the direct flight, right? New York to Tokyo. There is no other direct flight. There is only one direct flight, right? So this is one route. This route works for us. Now another route can be New York to Los Angeles, right? And then Los Angeles to Tokyo. See, this is one route possible, right? So he can go from New York to Los Angeles, right? And this flight and the all the times are of same date, right? 15 June. So we just have to look at the time, right? So if you look at it, it is start ending at 10 o'clock am, right? 10 am. And then this is starting at 1 p.m., right? 13. So this flight is possible, right? There might be some flights which are not possible. So let's see this flight, New York to Los Angeles again, right? This is ending at 11, right? Now there is a flight from Los Angeles at 13. This is also fine, right? Let's look at some other flights. So we have New York to Chicago, right? And then Chicago to Tokyo. Now, this flight is not possible. I mean, this route is not possible because it is ending at 12, right? And this is starting at 11:30. So this route is not possible, right? So this is what I wanted to show you, that some routes are not possible, right? There is one stop in between, but I cannot take these two flights because this will end at 12 and next will start at 11:30. So we have to take care of this and get in the output this kind of thing, which all route are possible with the city in middle and all the flights that the person has to take. Great. So let's start. So what we will do now, we will say let's get the direct flights now. So I will say as direct as, and I'll say select star from flight details where start city equal to end city. Right? This is the, this will give me the okay. I have created a city, but let me just show you. Select a star from direct. Okay, so this will give me all the flights which are direct, right? And this is giving me nothing is there, right? So something is, sorry, not start equal to end. I have to say start equal to New York, right? So I'll say start equal to New York, right? These are the direct flights, and end city equal to Tokyo. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have one flight, right? This is flight ID 1, and this is perfectly fine. And this has to be in the output, right? In the output, we have this flight ID 1. Now we will also keep all the columns that are required. So I need start city, middle city, and end city. Right? Time taken we will see later. Right? So I will say start city, right? Start city, end city, right? And middle city will be null in this case. So let me put null. Null as middle city, right? Because this is a direct flight. Right, and then flight id, right? Flight id, that's it. Time taken we will do later, right? So for that we will need start time and end time as well, or maybe we can calculate here. So I will say date diff, right? Date diff function we can use, and I will say start time comma end time, right? And we needed minute, so I will say minute, right? So as time taken overall from starting to ending. Great. So this we got, right? This is what we got already. Because this was the direct flight, so it was easy for us. Great. Now we what we need to do. Let me just go back and show you the flight details again. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to find all other routes with one stop in between. What I will do, I'll query all the flights which are starting from Tokyo. Sorry, starting from New York, right? So I will say where start city equal to New York. I'll get all the flights, right? So if I just do execute, I'm getting all the flights, right? This we can ignore for now. This is a direct flight. But these are the four flights I'm getting, 2468, right? They are all starting from New York. So this is perfectly fine. Let me create Union All just to show you. We don't need to use Union All, but I want all the flights which are ending on Tokyo. So end city equal to Tokyo. Just to show you, we don't need to do union as such, right? So if you see these five, those are from first query, right? And these five, those are from second query, right? Now sometimes if you have a huge data and you are doing union all to do some exercise or something, what you can also do just to visualize, right? You can say one as id here, right? And here also you can say 2 as id. So when you do union all, you will know that which column is coming from which table. So these five, sorry, which rows are coming from which table. So these five rows are coming from first query, and these five rows are coming from second query, right? So here if you see starting city is New York, and here if you see ending city is Tokyo, right? And this is a common in both because this is a direct flight, right? It's the starting city is also New York and end city is also Tokyo, so coming from both the queries. Fine. This will be taken care of automatically. Don't worry about this row for now. Now what I need to do, I want those route, right, from this query and this query, right, where the end city, right, end city, all the flights from here whose end city is equal to all the flights from here whose start city is same, right? So here, if you see Los Angeles, right, this is New York and end city is Los Angeles. Now, person can go to Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles, he can pick either this flight or this flight, right? Again, we need to check that time also. We'll check later. But for now, in a simple way, we have to check the end city of these rows should be equal to start city of these rows, or end city of these rows should be equal to start city of these rows. If that is there, those routes can be taken, right? After that, we will filter on start time, end time as well. But for now, let's get that data, right? So let's call this as, I will remove one row. One is not required. Let's remove one. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll call it as A. This is my subquery A, right? And this is my another subquery. Let's call it B. Very simple way I'm trying to explain it, right? These are two tables now, table A, table B, and I will do a join. So I will say select from this table A, right? Inner join this table B on A dot end city, right, equal to B dot start city, right? I hope you are able to follow me now, right? So end city of this, I'm trying to join with the start city of this, right? That's all I need for now. Great. So what we will do, we will get all the details which we need in the select as well. So I will say A dot start city, right, comma A dot end city, right? This will be my middle city now as middle city, right? Then I will have B dot B dot start city and A dot end city will be same, right? That's what the join condition is. So I can choose either one of them to get the middle cities. I can say A dot end city or B dot start city. Both will be same because only on that condition we are joining. Then we will say B dot end city equal to as end city, right? Great. Or we can say as start trip start city and trip end city, right? This makes more sense. Great. So this is done. This is the first thing we wanted. Second thing we wanted is we also need the time, right? So I will say A dot start time as trip start time, right? And then A dot end time. Now A dot end time we don't need it, right? We don't need the at what time he's changing the flight, right? But we need to compare that to filter the data, right? That A dot end time should be less than or equal to B dot start time. That I'll show you. So let me take that as well. A dot end time, right, as middle flight end time or first flight end time, right? That will be better. First flight end, right? Great. Similarly, I will say B dot start time as second flight start, right? So this will give me when is the first flight ending, right? This time for the first five rows, and this will give me B dot start time when is the second flight starting. Great. And then I will say B dot end time, right? This will be my as trip end time. Okay. So let's call it start. Great. Apart from that, let's get the flight information as well. So I will just concat. We need the concatenation anyway. So I will say concat. I need the A dot flight ID, right? And let's have one semicolon in between, comma B dot flight ID as flight ID. Great. So let's run this and see what we are getting. Okay. So we are getting all the possible combination that we can go from New York to Los Angeles and then Los Angeles to Tokyo. These will be the flights and all the information. Now, only filter we need to put here is that second flight start time, right? Second flight start time should be greater than or equal to first flight end time, right? Otherwise, it is not possible. So this is fine, right? Equal to is also fine. It is mentioned in the question. This is also fine, right? This is not possible, right? Because this is ending at 11 o'clock and this is starting at 10. Similarly, this is start ending at 11. This is fine. And this is also not fine. See, it is starting ending at 12, the first flight, and second is starting 11:30. So this row and this row are not possible. These two routes are not possible. Flights are there, but time are not fine. Great. So let's filter that. So I will say, so we have joined these two, right? I will say where, right? Where first B, second flight start time, right? This is the second flight start time, should be greater than or equal to first flight end time. So it will be this A dot end time, right? Great. So we have got three rows remaining now. That's it, right? And we have one direct flight. So these four rows will be there in the output, right? If you see, there are four rows. Great. So what all we need to do now? We need to get the time between the trip start time and trip end time. So let's get that. So we don't need all of this information. What we need is start city, middle city, and end city, right? In the output, these three things are there. Then flight ID and time taken. So what I will do, I will keep these three columns: start city, middle city, and end city, right? And then we need flight ID and time taken, right? So I'll take flight ID from here, Control X, right? And we need time taken. So time taken between the start time and the end time. So we will remove everything, right? This middle thing is needed only for filtration. So I will just go here and I will say minute, and I will say date diff, right? Date diff in minute between a dot start time and this, right? And that's it. Now I'm getting some error. Let's see what is the error. From this inner join this. Okay, I think. Mm, okay, comma is missing here, I think. Yeah, and this is also not required. Alias. Yeah, this is fine now. Let me then. Yeah, so we have got that these are the three trips possible, right? In that we just need to append the last one. So I will say union all select star from direct. So this is my direct flight, right? And in this I have 5 columns, and in the direct, let's see how many columns are there, because in union we should have same number of columns. So we have start city, middle city, end city, flight ID, and time taken. Perfect. Okay, so I think we have got the output. Now someone is asking that how much minimum time it will be taken. So we can choose this route, New York to Tokyo direct, right? It could have been other route as well, but for whatever data we have, this is what we wanted, and we can just take minimum of trip and time from this output to get the minimum time the person will take. Okay, great. So a lot of things we learned here, right? We learned self join. This is kind of self join. We did create multiple cities. This is kind of self join, I will say, right? Because I'm doing an inner join, because for self join there is no separate keyword, but basically I'm joining flight details with flight details, right? Now I created two subqueries here. Now what you can also do without that also you can do, right? So you can say that select star from, right? So let me remove everything. In this only I will make the change, right? So let's call it flight details, right? And let's call it A, where A dot start city is this, right? And then we can have another table, flight details, right? I will call it B and put comma, and B dot end city is this, right? And sorry, it is not copied. So let me copy it again. B dot end city is Tokyo, right? And I can put the join condition here. Inner join on this, right? And then I can remove everything else, right? So this is fine. I think this where clause we need, I can remove this, right? And this also a where condition I need, right? Where b dot start time is this, right? And this comma is not required. Yeah, that's it. Now this is kind of self join. I'm joining flight details with flight details, and for this flight detail I'm filtering wherever start city is not New York, and for this flight details I'm filtering where end city is Tokyo, and then everything else is same, right? And if I run this, we should get the same output. See, we are getting the same output, right? You can also, what you can also do, you can put these filters in the inner join itself. So you can do this as well. It won't make much difference, but at the time of join only it will make the filters, right? Otherwise it will join first and make the filters then. And this is also fine. So you are filtering as well as joining here, right? And yeah, that's it. There is some error. Okay, where clause is gone. Where clause we need, right? This where clause we need. Perfect. So it depends on how much comfortable you are with writing these self joins. If you want to write separate subqueries, that is also fine. The way I did initially, right? That is more clean. This might be confusing if you are not comfortable writing self joins, but I hope it makes sense. Let me know if you have a easier way of solving it in the comment section. Have a great day. Thank you.